quite keen, maybe a bit too keen, Aldergale with Tom Hamilton. Starters let them go. So Aldergale has got a bit of a flyer and pings the opening fence all over it safely. Back marker to touchdown was African Air. So Aldergale off in splendid isolation as they head towards the second fence and jumps it quickly from a gentleman who took it in second place. Then Lord Usher in advance of Saucier and Play Practice, who are racing side by side as they make the run towards the next fence. Aldergale well out over that one, and the field all landing safely. There was quite a bad mistake though made by Great Anticipation. Jack Teal, he really did work wonders there in fact to stay on board. That one in around about 5th place, and they're well strung out. Saucier now back in behind that one. Then comes Lonica as the leader Aldergale takes the first one going down the back. All across it safely. Autumn Bloom is right towards the back with Onya's Choice. They're just chasing Cheat Fairly through at the moment. Coming now towards an open ditch. First two well out over that one, and the rest of the field following suit. African Air is another one right towards the tail end. So shortly they'll be at the end of the back straight, and out in front it is Aldergale, who got a bit of a head start on the others with Tom Hamilton on board. Is around about 2 lengths ahead only now, with a gentleman and Amy Cree taking much closer order. And after this pair there's a good 20 length break now back to, in 3rd place, Lord Usher, as the 2 leaders come up and over the fence along the side of the track. They're both over it well. Lord Usher takes it in 3rd. Saucier was quite slow that time. Racing in 4th at the moment is Play Practice, and then over to the inner is Great Anticipation. Then comes Saucier from Sir Lonica, and then a 4 or 5 length break back to Cheat Fairly. Cheat Fairly in advance of Autumn Bloom, African Air and Onya's Choice, as the leading pair swing on back towards the 3 fences in the home straight. Aldergale up and over well, jumping more fluently than in 2nd place a gentleman. A gentleman now a good 5 or 6 lengths adrift of Aldergale, who comes towards the 8th and is over it well, as was a gentleman in 2nd. 15 lengths away then to, in 3rd place, Lord Usher. Then comes Play Practice and Great Anticipation as the leader sails out across the fence, which will be the last in a circuit's time. Watching the others get over it. All are safe, not all were fluent. African Air was quite slow and gets a couple of reminders there towards the rear end of the field, and Autumn Bloom and Jamie Stewart are now becoming a little bit detached in rear. Out they go onto the final circuit, and they're very well strung out here, and they're still being led by Aldergale, keen to get on with things right from the word go, and showing no signs of stopping just yet. Aldergale by 8 lengths once again, over a gentleman in 2nd. Similar gap back to Lord Usher in 3rd, and then Play Practice from Great Anticipation. Lonica has had a nice toe into this race as they come to the first fence going out onto this final circuit. Saucier is next, and then a 7 or 8 length break back to Onya's Choice, who in turn is clear of Cheat Fairly. Cheat Fairly followed by African Air, and completely tailed off as the leaders come over the next fence is Autumn Bloom. So the field crossing that one, all coming over it safely enough. And looking back, Autumn Bloom is continuing on, but might not be for a great deal further. Aldergale is 2 lengths ahead over the next fence to a gentleman who landed in 2nd. And these two still well clear of their rivals, around about 10 lengths back to Lord Usher in 3rd, and then Play Practice from Great Anticipation and Sir Lonica. Further back then to Saucier and Onya's Choice, and that main body then followed quite a considerable gap back by the others, headed off by Cheat Fairly. All landing safely out over that plain fence. African Air is following Cheat Fairly. Autumn Bloom is completely tailed off. On they go towards the next fence. This is the last of the open ditches. Order Gale, a little bit guessy that time, stood off it, but still has the advantage from in second place a Gentleman as they head now towards the end of the back straight. Autumn Bloom is still continuing on, 2 fences behind. They race on now towards the final 5 furlongs of their journey, and it is Order Gale leading up from a Gentleman in second. Lonica has breezed through the contest. Joe Wright looking for his 3rd winner of the day, Justin Landy seeking his 4th, and that one now as close as it's ever been. Another 5 lengths back then to Lord Usher as Order Gale approaches the 4th fence from home, but went hard from a very early stage and now has the presence of Lonica to worry about, and Lonica is quickly to within a half length as they begin the uphill climb back towards home. A Gentleman is in 3rd, and then comes Lord Usher from Great Anticipation and Saucier, and a break after those back to Onya's Choice as they race now into the home straight and gallop towards the 3rd from the finish. And it is Lonica who's now come through into the lead from in 2nd place Order Gale, who might have just done his running. Lonica is in splendid isolation up and over 3 out. Order Gale has unseated the rider, as has Saucier. They were in 2nd and 4th places at the time. Lord Usher is now in 2nd, and looking back, everything else has been pulled up. So the leader is safely out over the 2nd last Lonica. It's only Lord Usher in pursuit. Everything else has called it a day. So the race has fallen apart very quickly. Lonica's at the last and is across to the other side safely enough. What a day for the connections. Lord Usher is over it safely in 2nd place, but the show here at Alnwick completely stolen by Justin Landy, who's had his 4th winner from as many races, and Joe Wright has ridden 3 of them. Lonica home in front. The only other finisher will be Lord Usher.